charge.
Sir?
What'd I do?
Those charges, Captain. You have orders to report to ComSec Intelligence in Mount Trang.
Today we're going to take a look back at some rings we did a little while ago for a test. You're not going to want to miss this. Don't go away. Hey everybody, it's Paul from Fat Guy Productions, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And today we are looking back at the rings I did a while ago. We did a couple of rings, and what we did is we put a patina finish on them, and then we encapsulated them in a glossy clear powder coating to test the wearability and sustainability of a powder coat encapsulation. Because a lot of guys are using powder coat, but nobody's really sealing their rings up inside of it. And so I thought, let's give that a shot. So what we did is we took two rings. The first was a Morgan silver dollar. And we took that ring and we did a standard ring out of it. And then we used Midas Black to put a patina finish on it. And I followed all of my normal procedures up through putting the patina finish on it. I stopped where I would have sealed it in Protect-A-Clear. At that point, I switched to powder coating mode. Now, in the powder coating mode, what I did is I used my standard powder coating setup with the charged brush. I used some clear, glossy powder coat, and I, instead of taping it and plugging it, I left the entire ring out. I cleaned it just like I would normally. I pre-cooked it just like I would normally. The only thing I did different is I just put it on a very fine conductive hanger so that the entire ring would get a coat of this powder coat. So I went ahead and applied the clear powder coat, threw it in the oven, let it flow, then took it out and let it cool long enough to move the clip. I didn't want to have two little pinholes on the inside of the ring. So by moving the clip, I moved it into a place where powder coat had already flowed out, and that would allow the two little holes that were forming to seal themselves shut as well. So once I moved the clip, I put it back in the oven and I finished the curing process. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the two rings. The second ring was a Cuppernickel Kennedy half dollar. And we're going to take a really fine close-up look at these rings, and I'm going to talk to you about my experience with them. So let's go ahead and start with the little guy that I am wearing, the Cuppernickel Kennedy half dollar. All right, let's get this off my big old fat ham finger here, and let's try and zoom in here to where we can see it. Okay, so here we can see the, I'm going to be doing this and this at the same time, so bear with me there. Alright, here we can see the Cuppernickel Kennedy half. Now, in all fairness, I have to tell you, this is much older than the Morgan. It was the first one I did, and then for life reasons, I got away from it, and I never got to finish the Morgan. But I did wear this all of that time, and this was worn out on the airport ramp, under gloves, loading aircraft, moving aircraft, working heavy equipment, stuff like that. And it has held up beautifully. I mean, this thing looks exactly like the day that I put the powder coating on it. Now, this patina finish on this ring is a fire scale finish. Basically, I took the ring and didn't remove the fire scale from it. And what I did is I just shined up the highlights, and then I sealed it just like I talked about with the Morgan. And you can see it looks perfect. And here's the other thing that I noticed. It's really, really comfortable. I mean, this thing is amazingly comfortable to wear. Far more comfortable than a regular old coin ring. There's something about the smooth powder coat inside that really makes it feel a lot better on your finger. I found it to be one of the most comfortable rings I have. And it is held up really well. The patina finish hasn't changed. The silver hasn't changed. It's looking just fantastic, and it feels great. Okay, so let's take a look now at the Morgan and see what it looks like. Okay, so here's the Morgan. Let me get that lined up. And in the Morgan silver dollar, I did it exactly the way I would do if I were making a patina finish ring that I was going to sell to a customer. So I made the ring. I applied the patina with Midas Black, and I brought the highlights out with some 4-0 steel wool, shined that up, and then using the same methods of powder coating, I went ahead and encased this in powder coating. And yes, the ring has a slightly different look than you're used to. It's got a glossier finish all the way around, and they do make a matte powder coat, so if that's something that you want, you can do that. But it does give the ring a little bit of a different look. But again, I will tell you, this is the most comfortable Morgan I own. Okay, it is just so smooth and comfortable on my finger. I tell you what, I cannot believe how comfortable this thing is. Now, this has been worn on and off for about a month and a half now. Whereas the Kennedy had been worn probably for 4 or 5 months. Quite a bit different, but it is still held up perfect. And somewhere on here, and I'm going to try and get real close here. Okay, somewhere on this edge, the reeded edge, I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. Is that it right there? I whacked the tar out of this thing on the corner of a chair. I swung around and I hit my hand on the corner of a chair, right on the reeded edge here somewhere. And it did make a little bit of a mark. But now I can't even really find it. That might have been it right there. I don't know if you guys can see it in the video or not. I'm having a hard time spotting it. I guess my point is that it really didn't matter to the ring at all. It didn't really phase it. It kind of held up pretty nice. And you have to understand, I was wearing this for everything, okay? I don't think a guy working a jackhammer is going to get up in the morning, throw on his construction boots, and go to take out his Morgan silver dollar coin ring and throw it on his hand when he heads to the construction site. So I really don't think that's an issue, but it is pretty resilient, and I don't see any problems with it. As to wearing it, I've already mentioned how comfortable it is on my hand. It is just extremely smooth and comfortable. It kind of takes the roughness off of any of the artwork, or especially the cut edge or the reeded edge. It's very, very comfortable to wear. So I can't say enough about that. And here's one of the biggest issues. There's no discoloration of my hand. I wore this copper nickel coin on my hand for months, under work gloves, sweating, pouring out sweat, hard, grueling work, and not a mark. Nothing at all. So there's that. Now, I recently did a an order for a copper ring, and it came out beautiful, and I fully encapsulated it in clear powder coating and sent it out to my customer, and I think he's going to get the same result with this. This is going to last 1 trillion times longer than Renaissance wax and 7 times trillion longer than Protect-A-Clear. It's really just the way to go. It really is the way to go. Now, would I do that? Let's say I had just done the Morgan in a polished silver finish. Would I encapsulate that in powder coat? I would not. Because it's so easy to shine it back up, okay? If it gets a little dingy or whatever, you take the polishing cloth from Target, and in 5 minutes, it's shiny and like new. No need for this, okay? So unless you're going for the comfort of it, there's just no need for it. But when you're talking about protecting a patina finish, protecting your finger from a metal and discoloration, this is a fantastic way to go. Now, big disclaimer here, okay? I am not responsible if you do this and your customer or you has a reaction to the powder coating, okay? I'm not a chemist. I don't know anything about it. My suspicion is powder coating has been around a very long time, and my suspicion is that it's completely inert and safe. I have had no reaction to it. I have loved every second of wearing these rings. Okay, but it doesn't mean your customer might not, or you might not, okay? It's entirely possible somebody could react to this. But they could also just as easily react to the metals of the coin. They're not made to be worn against your skin. The Renaissance wax or the Protect-A-Clear or even the material you use to put the patina finish on. So, you know, we're really splitting hairs here when we start talking about worrying about somebody reacting to this. I would put, as I do, a disclaimer that, people have weird body chemistries. I can't be held responsible for that. But at the end of the day, I don't see it being any kind of a problem whatsoever. And in fact, this really seems to be the way to go for all rings going forward in the future, except maybe like a polished silver finished ring. So this is it right here. All right. I told you I'd come back in a month and give you an update, and there it is. I hope that helps. Here, let's try and get a better shot of that for you, okay? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe, ask any questions, make any comments. I really do read them, and I will try to answer anything you ask of me, or just drop a little note and say hello to you. Okay, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Until next time, I hope you have an amazing, ring-making, fabulous, wonderful day, and be good.